It is East Africa's most ambitious project in history that was built to move freight from the port of Mombasa to landlocked countries faster and cheaper. Started in 2014, Kenya has completed the first phase of the project that links the port of Mombasa with Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Talking about the standard gauge railway. But with China having refused to extend another loan to finance the second phase of the project, and Muhoroni residents having resisted the setting up of special economic zones in their region, is the SGR dream a reality or still a dream? Built at a cost of 327 billion shillings, the Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway is a major flagship project in Kenya since independence. It is also East Africa's largest project so far. 90% financing of the project was provided by the China Exim Bank, with the remaining 10% by the Kenyan government. Construction of the 609-kilometer line was completed in early 2017 and has improved the movement of Kenyans and cargo across the two cities. After a year in operation, Madaraka Express has ferried more than 1.3 million passengers. Additional 230,000 metric tons of freight cargo has also been transported. The Kenya Standard Gauge Railway project is divided into two phases. The first phase being Mombasa-Nairobi SGR, and the second phase is Nairobi-Malaba SGR. The Nairobi-Malaba phase is further subdivided into three segments: Nairobi-Naivasha SGR, Naivasha-Kisumu SGR, and Kisumu-Malaba SGR. Progress report of the 120-kilometer Nairobi-Naivasha SGR shows that engineers are working round the clock as they race against time to complete the project by June. The contractor, that is the China Communication Construction Company, hit a major milestone with completion of works of the 4.5-kilometer Mbulbul Tunnel. The tunnel will be the longest railway tunnel in Africa and is designed as a single-track railway underpass with a clearance height of 7.6 meters and a width of 6.4 meters. In order to complete the SGR project, further financing is needed.
I wish to state that we have equally agreed for our train by August of 2019 will be in Naivasha. With that development in Naivasha, and then moving on to the meter gauge from there to Malaba, that goods will now move from Mombasa to Malaba within 2 days.
A few days before President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Premier Raila Odinga departed for China, Odinga expressed optimism that the Chinese government will give Kenya 368 billion shillings in loan for the extension of the Standard Gauge Railway from Naivasha to Kisumu. Speaking in Luo while addressing his followers in Nyakach, Odinga confirmed that indeed the SGR will reach Kisumu town and that he will be accompanying the president to China for the talks on the same.
SGR Standard Gauge Railway. What the last watch the sunny go with the China. What is the SGR Buruan again Naivasha to Luna Rock Toluo Nyamira, Toluo Kasoduka, Kadi Kisumu. Take Kisumu Kacha, it is a report but Manyin Kisumu.
But just what happened in China? The president, flanked with senior government officials, including the CS for Foreign Affairs Monica Juma, CS for Trade Peter Munya, and the CS for Transport James Masharia, attended the Belt Road Initiative Conference, a multilateral event that brings together over 60 heads of states and government and other leaders from across the world to discuss issues of intercontinental connectivity for global trade.
Dear colleagues and friends, the joint pursuit of the Belt and Road Initiative aims to enhance connectivity and practical cooperation. It's about jointly meeting the various challenges and risks confronting mankind and delivering win-win outcomes and common development. Thanks to the joint efforts of all of us involved in this initiative, a general connectivity framework consisting of 6 corridors, 6 connectivity routes, and multiple countries and ports has been put in place. A large number of cooperation projects have been launched, and the decisions of the first BRF have been smoothly implemented.
The Kenyan delegation also had a bilateral meeting with their Chinese counterparts.
Road initiative, an initiative that I believe seeks to bring the peoples of the world closer together for increased trade and partnership, as we have always said, on a win-win basis. But before I begin, let me just convey the warm greetings and best wishes from the people and the government of the Republic of Kenya to you and the people, as well as the government of the People's Republic of China. Reaffirm Kenya's commitment to the ideals of the Belt and Road Initiative that has brought immense benefit to the people of Kenya and is gaining international recognition from so many countries day by day.
The bilateral talks culminated in the signing of 3 major agreements worth 67.5 billion shillings. This included trade agreement for the export of frozen avocados from Kenya to China, a deal that will see the Chinese market take in more than 40% of Kenya's avocado produce, making it one of the largest importers of the fruit. The second agreement signed was the 50 billion shilling framework agreement for the construction of expressway from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to Westlands. Another deal was financing agreement valued at 17.5 billion shillings with China Exim Bank for the construction of Konza Technopolis data center and IT infrastructure. Also signed was the operation and maintenance service agreement for the Nairobi-Naivasha segment of the SGR.
And one of the things we are discussing in this visit is how we can quickly close that gap in Naivasha. And we have already put proposals to make sure that when we finish the SGR in August, commission it in August, we can then move goods from Naivasha SGR to Naivasha MGR.
Sources familiar with the matter revealed that China declined to sign on to the deal after President Kenyatta requested for half of the loan to be a grant. Now, this is said to have irked China, prompting President Xi Jinping to hold on making that decision until Kenya conducts a commercial feasibility study. When the duo returned to the country, there was no official word from either of them. President Kenyatta choosing to avoid the public eye, while Odinga choosing not to address the subject. On the political front, Politicians allied to Deputy President William Ruto made a meal out of the failure to secure the SGR loan. Led by the Kericho Senator Aaron Cheruiyot, the leaders tore into Odinga.
Unajua mimi nimesikia viongozi wakizungumza hapa wakisema kuhusu hii safari ya rais ya kwenda China. Na wanasema sijui ya kukukuwa na mpango ama kitu kingine. Wacha mimi niwaambie ukweli ya mambo. Sababu mimi niko na marafiki wangu ambao wanazungumza kichina na ni Chinese wenyewe. Hao wameniambia hii loan ya SGR sisi tungepewa. Makosa ambayo ilitokea ni kwamba rais alitembea na mzee mwingine anakaa njanja. Sasa wakati rais alikuwa pale juu ya meza anazungumza na president wa China, kulikuwa na mzee ambaye hajajulikana kazi yake ni nini, amekaa kwa kiti analala akijikuna peke yake. Rais wa China akastuka akasema, sasa nikipea huyu rais hii loan na naona ametembea na rafiki yake anakaa njanja, itafika Kenya kweli?
Hii constitution ya 2010 ni Raila alileta. Saa hii tena referendum ni yeye analeta. Na hako na bahati mbaya, hata juzi alienda na rais kwenda kuleta pesa kule. Kama rais angeenda peke yake angeleta pesa. Lakini wa Chinese wanajua mwenye kungoa reri ni nani. Wakaona sura ya Raila vile wanamuona kwa TV wakasema hatuwezi peana pesa kwa ajili ya huyu mtu. Hawakupeana pesa. Lakini Uhuru angeenda peke yake pesa ingekuja.
The media too put pressure on the government to explain itself on the China visit.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and his high-powered delegation returned to Kenya without funds to finance the extension of the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Malaba.
Unaenda to borrow 368 billion for the construction of the Naivasha Kisumu leg. You see the...
Yeah, but surely that thing needs to get to Kisumu.
It needs to get to Kisumu, I know.
With continued media reports that the China visit was a failure, State House Chief of Staff Nzioka Waita came out dismissing the negative scorecard. In a statement sent to media outlets, Waita said extension of the railway was not on the agenda of President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit to China. In his statement, and I quote, "The extension of the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Kisumu was not on the agenda of the meeting between the two presidents. It therefore follows that the president cannot be said to be returning home empty-handed for something he did not request." He went further to say, "Government of Kenya shared its short-term plans to rehabilitate the existing meter gauge railway to the port of Kisumu to ensure seamless interconnection with the SGR at the Naivasha facilities." Earlier in the month of May, when Odinga visited Muhoroni in Kisumu County alongside 3 cabinet secretaries, he finally broke his silence on the China visit. According to Odinga, the media reports that China visit was a failure are mere propaganda.
We never failed in China. We never failed in China. The media has been coming up with all sorts of propaganda. And I don't know why our media is so negative, and they know themselves. Be more positive.
The completion of the SGR will have had a huge impact on the economy of Kisumu and its environs. Special economic zones are to be established in Kisumu to make Kisumu City the hub of East Africa.
Ndio sababu tumeamua kuanza na kujenga viwanda. Viwanda hizi zitaanza kufanya kazi zikimalizika. Na wakati hiyo itakuwa ile SGR vilevile imefika Kisumu.
However, a section of Muhoroni residents where a parcel of land has been earmarked for the project are opposed to it. They are calling for public participation before implementation.
Taka public participation Kama kuna public participation, there is no investors here. Because there no land grabbing in Turwaka.
Na hiyo miaka yote tumekuwa tukilima. Ile kitu tunasema, hatujakataa mradi, lakini tungependa serikali iweze kutukupeana haya mashamba.
Sasa wanataka kuchukua bila kuandika hii land. Tunataka lazima serikali Raila Amolo Odinga yeye akikubali kutusaidia sisi. Hatukiji project, lakini tunataka ile manamba, ile masaba atuandikie. Alafu kila mtu akuwa na title deed yake. Mradi tutaingisha.
Kidogo sana. Mbona kimatini? Mbona kitine kula kani? Kila sanos. Ili kakeno ndio vile mbona katika bila kitio na kakana tasema kwa nikane gramba gramba. Kama ndio gramba. Ingeni kwa kiko yeye kai. Kwa serikali timogi ni tutero mna kama chelo lodo.
Our estimation, if you have an industrial zone of around 500 acres, the industry set up there could employ close to 24,000 people.
The president himself is very much behind this project, and he said that they want to come here in August to do the launching of this project formally. And we will invite President Museveni to come here, and also President Tshisekedi of the DRC in August. And so it's all systems go.
Doing that Malaba wing or artery of SGR, so of MGR, we shall now say, look, we have a profitable line all the way from Mombasa to Malaba, which can also fund and help us fund this leg now from Naivasha to Kisumu.
Naivasha, Narok, Bomet, Nyamira, Sondu, Kisumu. That is the line of the SGR.
Still, the planned route of the SGR is already facing opposition from a section of leaders from Western region. Led by Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula, the leaders are demanding the railway line to follow the old route as laid by the colonial masters 120 years ago.
Ukienda Eldoret inaitwa 64. Eldoret was station number 64 from Mombasa, reli ikielekea Uganda. Laseri ikawa 65, Tarbo 66, Webuye 67, Sudi 68, Bungoma 69, Mianga 70, alafu Malaba 71 from Mombasa to Uganda. Alafu wakaamua ati wanaleta standard gauge railway inafika Naivasha, inaenda Narok, inakata mkato, inaenda Kisumu. Wametuacha nje. And our economy has been dependent on the presence of the railway line and pan paper. Town is zote, Tarbo, Eldoret, Nakuru, they grew because of the railway line. Father.
Malaba leaders are also murmuring discontent with the idea of creating special economic zones in Kisumu and not Malaba.
SGR inakuja. Hii SGR inakuja paka Malaba. But the most unfortunate thing I know as an engineer, mambo ya upakuaji ya mizigo, exchange of goods will be done in Kisumu. Which means we don't have business in Malaba. This is very, very unfair. Na nataka kulia hapa. Malaba ni kubwa na ni border. We don't want to see trains just passing with goods. Tuko na vijana wanataka kazi. Ikiwa kazi yote itabaki Kisumu, sisi hapa tutafanya nini hapa?
The extension of the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Kisumu was stalled after China refused to extend a loan for the project. The government has now resorted to refurbishing the old route so as to make it more viable. However, that is compounded by the refusal of a section of Muhoroni residents to allow the establishment of special economic zones in their region, a move that will make the SGR viable. Will President Uhuru Kenyatta and the former Premier deliver the SGR to Kisumu. Eddy Nyadwa, LTN, Naivasha.